Hello, my name is Frank Blanca and today I'm going to do a workout with Cutler in Las Vegas at the Fit Club. And in this workout I'm basically going to give you a raw version of a shoulder workout I did with him and ask him a couple questions about his former life as a professional bodybuilder and how he's doing it right now. So without further ado, here's the workout.
Alright, so what I'm going to do, just a couple sets, side laterals, so I'm going to do seated, seated. So what I'm going to kind of focus on is around 12 repetitions. I always try to shoot for 8 to 12. And you're going to notice the side lateral, like some people like to do motion a certain way, but what I'm going to kind of do is start with my palms in, and I'm going to come up, and it's almost like a front raise side lateral at the same time. But I'll do 2 warm-up sets and then 3 or 4 working sets. Okay. I notice a lot of the pros, they only go like to here.
Yeah, so
I just don't feel it as much.
There's been talked a lot about the press the scapula.
Yeah.
It's not really that way. So, yeah.
I mean, how will you do it? You do it this way?
I usually do it like this.
Okay, so do it. Do it your way, because I want to see. Alright, so same thing. I'm gonna do one feel set, probably a couple sets just to kind of get a rhythm, and then I'm gonna do 3 sets kind of, and everything's 8 to 12, so I kind of know where I need to start. So I'm gonna start off at, 70. I'm gonna start at 70. You know, I'm just trying to really engage the muscle, right?
Yeah.
So we talk about the mind to muscle connection, which is very common in talk of training. And I think it's hard for a starter person or even an intermediate to understand what that means. So sometimes, like, I close my eyes and I actually envision the muscle working as I'm going through the reps. But with me, for some reason, I like to engage. So sometimes there's a pause, which a lot of people are against. Like, once you get into your reps, they don't want to pause. I've always done it. So the hardest part of bringing people into my type of training when I was at my prime was the speed.
Yeah.
So I rest 45 to 60 seconds. So basically you go, I go. So that's how I work. And people couldn't keep up with that pace and keep the strength. That's the ideal. So when we talk about intensity, people have a different mindset how intense is. Like, does that mean explosive? Does that mean, some people think it's aggression in the gym, like no talking or whatever else.
I think the way you did it is like training density. It's like just more work and less time.
Yes. So ideally, if you said, Jay, what's your shoulder workout? I would say 30 minutes is my goal.
Yeah.
If I was by myself, it might be 20 minutes.
Yeah. So, but
and I would still do 12 to 20 sets easy.
Yeah, so that's the biggest question. Like, you did a pretty high volume, which makes sense. Like, there are enough studies that say that if your volume is higher, you will grow more muscle. But how did you recover from it? Like,
a lot of food.
Yeah, so that's one. So of course you ate more calories.
And I slept. I'm a great sleeper.
Yeah, but how many hours do you sleep for on average? Like
8 to 10 a day.
8 to 10. And it was just one go, or do you take naps?
I would take naps after the first training session because I would train twice a day a lot too.
Yeah.
So some people do it, and I couldn't train a body part twice a week. Like Ronnie Coleman, Phil Heath, they did a body part twice.
Yeah.
I did a body part once every 5 to 7 days. I believed in 72 hours between each body part. So if we're gonna train shoulders, we have to wait 72 hours before we train it again.
I actually trained Dorian, he basically said the same thing.
Really?
Question about the food, because I got a lot of guys in my coaching that are bulky, and they have a hard time getting all the food in. What's your top 3 tips to get it in?
Number 1, mind over matter, force feed yourself. You never eat only when you're hungry, okay? Anyone that's weight training with the mindset they want to put on size has to eat 6 meals a day.
Yeah.
I believe 6 is absolutely necessary. I eat every 2 hours, so I would eat by the clock. Sometimes adding cardio in, even though you're trying to bulk, might be something to speed up the metabolism, but also lower fat diet. Like I didn't eat a lot of red meat, focus on more carbohydrates and fats, so my body processed the food quicker.
Did you ever get problems with digestion, actually getting it down?
It would take me an hour to eat some of my meals. 1 hour.
Yeah.
Think about that, I was eating 6-7 meals a day.
And do you think all the therapy that you did helped as well for recovery?
That I did?
Yeah.
100%. Why I have no pain today, and the therapy was crazy that I did.
Yeah.
Like you probably read about it and saw, but it was way deeper than what anyone saw.
Yeah.
Like the times I would get my therapist at 6 in the morning to get him fresh, he thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
On my days off, that was my day off from the gym, from weight training. I had 2 days a week, would be doing tissue work, because he would destroy my body so bad that I needed that rest, you know?
Yeah.
So with this, I'm gonna go right into 3 straight sets. So I'm doing this behind the back. I just like this better because I feel that right here alone, the tension is gonna pull on the side delt. So my goal is to come up to here, okay? Just like
here. Yeah. Normal person goes here. You're both here.
So I'll do a little turn just to get a little more pull.
Yeah.
So a lot of people stand straight, you don't get as much of the pull. So I'm gonna turn a little bit, and I'm gonna exaggerate so it's pulling my shoulder like this.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just, you like to do it?
I love training. I have no goal to put on weight. I do a cardio, I do fasted cardio every morning, like I did 40 minutes this morning. And normally I'll train during the day and do another 30 minutes, so twice a day. My goal is to stay lean and be more athletic, like more athletic look. So I don't have a body goal as much now, just to be leaner and still have some muscle. But I don't feel I train that intense anymore, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to be in pain when I finish a workout. You know, when I started taking on clients, I'm more surprised that, and that may sound crazy to you, that people want to take my advice. But I think the hardest obstacle I have is knowing that these people go to the gym every day, or they're at home cooking their meals, not putting 100% effort.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's like, unless I was in the gym training with someone or cooking their food, like this is how you need to prep your food. There shouldn't be like a ton of like sauces and other stuff, right?
A lot of people don't know it either.
I know.
Yeah. That's the difference.
Like I was a very bland eater, so like my egg whites, I didn't put anything but pepper on them. You know, I'd eat dry toast. My oatmeal would just be plain oatmeal. It wasn't the sugar packets, and like I didn't use ketchup. Never ketchup in prep. I used a little mustard with the fish because obviously it didn't have sugar. But that's how much I measured stuff. Where I know some of the pros use barbecue sauce and ketchup, you know? All right, let's go over here. And just for you guys that are watching, I have shorter legs, so my goal is to keep the bottom of my pecs to here. So I noticed, you know, your legs are long, so you had trouble staying a little higher, right? Okay, chest is gonna be a little higher. So that's important. Like the bottom of the chest is gonna be there, okay? What do you feel?
It's more my front delt.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if the grip would make any difference. I know some people do raises this way, right?
For a front delt, it doesn't function on taking the arm up and outside. So if you use your thumb, it's easier to squeeze it in a little bit.
So you think with dumbbells it would work?
It would. What you could do is like,
I want you to coach me on this. I'm gonna go a little lighter.
you probably could start off like thumbs up and then rotate the hand away.
Alright, so show me the motion, what I should do. So like this, and then what?
So you're gonna go like this, and then rotate.
Okay, so like this, okay. Okay.
Nationals for USA,
Alright, pay attention now. This is my first. Okay, so here and up.
Yeah.
Like that, right?
You can do it a little narrower. There.
like 6 that. That's all that matters.
How's my height? Good? I definitely feel it engages the delt more, bro. Oh, definitely more fatigue right there. Definitely more fatigue. Oh, come on. Yeah.
Go on.
That's heavy, right?
Yeah, it's heavy. Let's do it, yeah.
Hey, man. So what's good is, so Frank's gonna see me on Instagram now, and he's gonna be able to tell everyone I taught Jay that. So here I've been training for 30 years, you know, this year. I've been training. I started 1991, August 3rd. And the one thing, you know what? Yeah, so when Frank was 2. I still am open-minded to learning new things. So that's the really cool thing about being, you know, an Olympia champ. Doesn't mean I knew everything, because there's so many different training techniques, and I can watch like your Instagram now, and I'm watching some of these exercises that you do. And it's great because you don't have to just pick weights up and do crazy free weight movements only. I mean, I was there before hammer strength, before half this stuff existed. Like looking around this gym, none of this equipment existed when I started. It was basically dumbbells, barbells, all that. So to learn these new techniques is always great. And it helps a little bit when I'm a little older now too. You want to show me?
I do it protection version. Okay, you only can use your rear delts.
Okay, can you show me?
Yeah, sure. You can pick your weight. I will go a little 80% of what you usually do. So we're gonna at least do the same.
You don't do what I mean.
So when you normally sit down, you sit like down straight. You're gonna approach. If you're gonna make a motion like this, you can only use.
Okay, so I'm not gonna grip this. I'm gonna use my.
Actually, you're gonna grip this, or you're gonna push it forward. So you're gonna push it away from you, and instead of going backwards, you're going front to the side.
Okay, so I want you to get in and just with very little weight. Show me the motion, just so I can get it.
So you're gonna sit like this, and you're gonna push forward.
Again, just remember.
Yeah, but that's easy, but you can't come all the way back.
No, that's a different version. If you want to train your rhomboids, you go all the way back.
Okay.
Okay. So you can actually go heavier at some point.
Okay.
You're gonna feel it right. Okay, just put it up.
Right. All right, bro, good for you.
It's pretty crazy. This part just ain't moving. It's just all here. This part doesn't do anything. Yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy to see. Like when you're back here, like your rear delt, you basically can just squeeze it all the way in.
I have really good.
Yeah.
And I think that's from the therapy. I trained with Michael Hearn. He told me when he benched with me, he's like, your range of motion's crazy because a lot of guys are stuck, right?
No, but like it's weird. Like you have this big back, but you're like your rotation in your belt is like almost the same. Like I don't even have the range anymore. I'm like way smaller. What were like the biggest limiting things you couldn't do? Because when you're that size, you cannot fit normal clothes probably and stuff like
Well, normal clothes. Obviously airplanes, my back was so wide that, when I sat in an aisle seat, half my back hung in the aisle. But I'll be honest, I was pretty limber at my weight.
Yeah.
Like you've seen me guest posing, jumping around on chairs, that kind of stuff. I just, nothing was really terribly limiting except the clothes I couldn't find. I wear 4 and 5X shirts.
Okay. For your size, that's pretty insane.
So if you noticed, this workout started with Jay's way, and we finished with Frank's way.
So there's different levels. I will do it for the camera. So if you press your elbows in, it's more for your lats. If you're gonna press all the way up, it's gonna be your upper back. And if you're gonna do that at a 45-degree angle, and you push chest up in your rear traction scapula, you're gonna feel it in your rear delt. So this is the angle, all the way forward, and then push left.
All right, so what I noticed when I was training for Olympias, my rear delts were massive.
Yeah.
And now I don't have it. I incorporate, I think I would kind of talk about how heavy I rode and did seated cable rows and all that built my rear delts. Would you agree?
I think what helped it is you use a narrow grip, like a small one. I know when you pull it, like when you were this big, when you pull it, your elbows are gonna go out at a 45-degree angle. So you basically lined it up perfectly. Your back wasn't going from what your rear delts were. So that's literally how you grew your rear delts.
They were massive, bro. Like when I turned in the quarter turns, like they were.
Yeah. So probably all the low variations you did, on like even the T-bar road with a narrow grip, that's more your rear
delts. And I think a lot of the when I stood, a lot of the rear delt actually shows how much fullness your shoulders have, right? Just like when I turned to the back, I have the.
Yeah. I remember the first time I met you. We were at in Eindhoven in Veldhoven.
Yeah.
And you were actually signing an autograph, and I remember you were standing on the table and I looked at your shoulder and I was like, that's as big as a basketball. Like that was insane.
Where was that?
In by Harry de Jonge in Veldhoven. Was totaal. A small store it was.
Yeah.
You were there, and I was there, and I remember you signing that, and I was like, that shoulder's like as big as a basketball. It's impossible. Yeah.
How old were you then?
14, 15, something like that.
And all right, so adjust me here. So I'm gonna go a little lighter. So I am going to this.
Okay, in this position, be very proud. Just put your chest up. Yeah, and then retract your scapula here. Then you already have it.
Is this right?
Go. Okay, loose the thumb a little bit and the pointy finger. So just use the bottom three, like pistol grip. Pull it like that. You're gonna feel it better. There, you feel that?
Yeah. you know, it's hard to, and I'll be honest, like if you were who you are now, and you were trying to alter my technique, I would be a little resistant. I'm a lot more open-minded now because listen, when you're winning and you're, like when I'm second in the world for 10 straight years or whatever, top 2 in the world, like how do you tell someone, but that's the problem with the bodybuilder's mentality. Because sometimes science, textbook, it doesn't work. Like,
no, it doesn't work always.
It doesn't for some people, right? Because Ronnie Coleman, okay, let's be honest, how did he train? It was ballistic.
Yeah, it was
and Branch Warren, but he still grew.
Yeah.
So someone like you may say, man, if I got a hold of Ronnie, he would have been that much better. Would he have been?
Yeah.
Or Branch? You're gonna tell Branch that how he's training is wrong? I mean.
Yeah. Well, I work with, Phil was at Gold Gym in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And I remember him doing like your favorite incline press, hammer strength one.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it and I was like, you're sitting totally wrong. And I just looked at it and didn't say anything. And he did one set and he got a pump. I was like, probably in like 5 years we don't get a pump from one set. That's the way he did it. I was like, it doesn't make any sense, but like, yeah. And then I laid him down on the floor and I basically checked like how his body was reacting to like the stimulus. And he has perfect alignment for like every exercise almost. So it doesn't matter what he does. He will still grow.
It's genetics, right?
Yeah, it is.
So you think if I did when I was doing T-bar rows, you think that worked the rear delts a lot too? Close grip?
Yeah, if you use like the narrow handle.
Yeah, I did,
Yeah, like same way Ronnie did them.
Yeah.
That's, like if you have the machines now, they're always wider.
Yeah. Because I always did them off the floor, like.
Yeah. I think that's the West location now, right? Where you used to train. Yeah, they have to, that's the narrow.
You know, my back always suffered, so I really think these tweaks, I wish I would have been able to have someone like, you know, and especially as I got like deeper in my career, I started losing my lower lats. Why would you think that, like now Rami has that issue? What do you think?
It's a lot to do with technique, probably scar tissue. It has to do with it. Like he will have injured his lats before with the way he trains. Like he trains very heavy.
Yeah. And that's not good over time, right?
It's gonna have some scar tissue. Yeah. Like all that pulling, like with the way that he's doing and the speed, like it will do something with it.
Yeah, because I didn't get injured. I felt like my body just started to get wear and tear, you know?
Yeah, but you don't get injured, but you do have micro tears.
Yeah.
So it'll probably add up a lot.
Even with all the tissue work I did and everything, you know? All right, guys, so it was kind of cool today because you know, I've been kind of getting some advisement from Frank and, you know, I'm really trying to get more, I want to learn a little bit more about, you know, people and how the adjustments to kind of training, and his knowledge is like unmatched. So it was kind of cool when he hit me up to say, hey, I'm coming to Las Vegas. Let's get a workout in. We weren't really sure. He kind of asked me this morning what I'm going to train, and it was kind of like, well, I train this, I train. So shoulders worked out. And like he said, he may not group shoulders by themselves. You do it with chest or usually, or?
I do a push day, so it's mostly chest, shoulders, and tries.
Yeah.
So I don't do them alone. I do like a push-pull leg split where you do body part split.
Yeah. So I do shoulders one day, I do chest one day, I do legs one day, back one day. That's the routine I usually follow. So what I'll normally do is train 2 days on, 1 day off. I like to have a rest day every like third day. And so what we focus on today is just, you saw it was kind of like a Jay Cutler, like old school workout in the beginning. We started with the simple things, the presses and the side laterals. And I started with the side laterals dumbbells just to do a little pre-exhaust. I think it's a little safer. So I like to kind of advise people like, hey, the shoulder joint's very delicate. Like if you get an injury, you really can't train a lot of things with your upper torso. So I like to do pre-exhaust with the side laterals when the presses. Then we moved to a side cable lateral, and as you saw, we made adjustments to the body, and that's where kind of Frank stepped in and started, you know, saying, okay, this is what I believe, and he watched kind of the rhythm of how I did it. And then we moved into the front raises, which you saw I started with my old school. We finished with dumbbells, and I think it's a great technique. I'm going to use that now as I continue to train. And then the rear delt machine, and then of course this exercise on the seated cable row, which we kind of use to work our rear delts. So always learning, that's the main thing, and I appreciate you coming out and spending some time with me, man. And you know, we'll have to do it again, so stay tuned for more, and you know, keep following along, man. It's always a learning process, and like we talked about, everyone's body's different. You kind of have to advance to what you feel the best works suitable to your training. So
yeah, well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And well, we'll definitely do it again someday. So everybody, I wish you all, this is like the last day of the year, so I wish everybody Happy New Year already, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.